What's going on, everyone? Combo here, and today's video will be about Halo delay as well as my thoughts on Microsoft marketing. Now, I know I'm late on the Halo news as it came out last week, but I wanted to share my thoughts on what I thought of the Halo delay. And with that news is Halo has been delayed until 2021. We haven't received a specific, early 2021, late 2021, mid, whatever, however you want to spin it, but it has been delayed past the initial launch with the console. And with this news, I want to say it's good that they decided to go with this. I think the Craig memes got to them after a while, and they saw how much, I know they wanted to try and embrace it and say it was their mascot, but at the end of the day, they saw that there was actual problem with the game, and the fans took note of that. And again, this is good for the console and the game, in my opinion. Limits it good for the console in the sense of that it's not launching with a huge title from Xbox, but good in the long run on the system. And the reason I say that is with this current generation with Xbox One, Xbox has kind of built up that mind of launch it, fix it later. There's just so many games that launch with bugs. ReCore, Quantum Break, Ori this year, Gears 5, Sea of Thieves, at least on the content side, State of Decay, bugs of it. Like, if I can name all these games that have bugs and not just like, it happens, sometimes you just can't find them or sometimes they slip under the cracks. I found some bugs in The Last of Us 2 myself, but for the most part, that was flawless. When you have a reputation like that for some of your signature first party titles, that's bad to have. And I forgot to mention the Master Chief Collection, which was just the worst case of them all. I'm not even going to list all the problems that thing had when it launched, but it's just a terrible image to have. They're trying to sell Game Pass as well, and people are building up, or some people are building up that idea that Game Pass is for fodder, or patch it now, or launch it now, patch it later. People are paying low price for it. It's okay, we'll fix it later. It's a bad image to set. You can't let that happen, especially with your biggest game being Halo Infinite. You can't launch that in a poor light. And we saw in the reveal event that they had, gameplay wise, it looked good. It looked like Halo. I don't know if that's being disrespectful or not, but it looked like Halo, and Halo plays good. But from performance wise, the textures were just not there in some areas. It seemed inconsistent in the textures. You had pop-ins, you had the guy at the end giving his monologue and his face looked terrible. Craig, can't forget Craig. So it's just, again, pop-ins in the distance after talking about velocity architecture. All around the game was just not shown in the best way possible, and I still question, why would you show the game like that? First impressions matter. People would still buy the game, but first impressions matter. And the game just did not look as good as it should have been, especially after, the promotions earlier in the year. The most powerful console, 12 T-flops, velocity architecture, solid CPU. You have all this, you're speaking all that, and then your biggest game come out, and it's not really giving me that vibe of all the stuff you're talking about. And it kind of makes me, or leads to a perfect transition of Microsoft and their marketing that they had throughout the year. To start in December last year at the Game Awards, that was really good. When I saw Hellblade 2, I'm not gonna lie, I was super hyped up when I saw the trailer. I'm at work, I'm supposed to be professional. I'm getting hyped after seeing that trailer. Then they showed the box. I'm like, oh man, odd shape, but hey, they showed the box, so I'm looking forward to it. February, they speak about specs. They finally put out the 12 T-flops, and they're talking about power this, power that, speed, velocity, sustained speed, the works about the console. But then everything went bad once May hit. Leading up to it, they had the May 2020 announcement, and they were going to show games, and this is going to be a first look at the Xbox Series X gameplay. If you saw, or if you stuck around with the news when that event was over, a lot of people were basically saying, where's the gameplay at? Me personally, there was gameplay, but there were snippets of it, but I'm not going to get into that. The general opinion was, where was the gameplay? After all the harping of, this is the first time you see it, and this is how powerful the console is going to be, you dropped the ball on that one. You really did. June rolls around, and I can't remember exactly what they spoke about. I think they had the lead architect on some shows talk about the velocity architecture. But when you announced the 2020 Xbox Summer 2020, I forget the name that it was, you kind of set the expectation of, hey, we're going to get videos or some in-depth dives each month of something Xbox related. You didn't get that. Then you have the event show up in July, which wasn't terrible overall. I thought it was pretty decent. But Halo, this is your first time showing Halo, your flagship title, talking about it's going to take full advantage of the hardware, it's going to launch with the console, and the first time since Halo Combat Evolved. Halo Infinite shows people are mixed. A lot of people are upset about the visuals, me as well. I'm not speaking about art style, but this texture wise and inconsistencies. It's a bad showing. So I guess to sum it all up is the marketing has just been bad in my opinion. Outside of like the early half of this year with up to at least February and December, the rest of it has just been bad because they've been over promising on some things or setting high expectations. And when they fail to deliver, you're leaving people in this position of, well, you were talking all this, but what you show really doesn't fit the expectations that you set, I guess you could say. Another thing I want to speak about is like the smart delivery, how they were going on about, smart delivery technology and this, that, and the other. And it's so unique and cool to the Xbox brand, and the PlayStation comes out and say, hey, yeah, this game offers support for a free upgrade. That's basically what smart delivery is. That's it. The end. So Microsoft has just been in the position of just talking more than they should, especially if they know they can't deliver. And I know, COVID had happened and they can't deliver everything because, COVID is happening, is really affecting the work experience for the workers that are developing these games. But I think this is a really learning lesson for Microsoft to tone back what they're speaking about and tone back what they're promising, so they don't set themselves up to where they'll fall flat on their face if something bad happens. Again, the prime example is Halo Infinite that we spoke about. The whole, it'll launch with the console since Halo Combat Evolved, and nope, that's not going to happen. It's delayed, so we're not doing that. So in the end is that they need to just work on marketing, but marketing smartly and not setting yourself up for failure, if that makes any sense. I'm not the best wordsmith, as I would say, but yeah, that's pretty much that. So I don't want this video to go too long, so I will cut it there. Just to sum things up, Halo Infinite being delayed, that's good. Hey, Xbox marketing and they're over promising, they need to work on that. So my next video, I kind of want to speak about PlayStation and their exclusives and how they're approaching it, and just give my overall thoughts on what I think about platform exclusivity, and especially in third-party deals. So I'm gonna cut it here. It's Monday, so happy Monday. And yeah, hey, post-recording magic here. One thing I forgot to mention throughout my recording is I've seen some people say that the console should be delayed alongside Halo, and no, that's not a good idea. The console's running just fine. Don't delay the whole thing over one game. They still have other games coming to the console that they showed back in May. I know some people trash it because they're smaller indie games, but there's still games coming to it, along with Cyberpunk, Assassin's Creed, bigger third-party games, and the whole back compatibility things for your current library. Sum it all up, don't delay the whole box over one game, especially if the box is running fine. So yeah, that's about it. So yeah, see ya. That's all we got there from P10.